Hello everyone, it's Monster Review Girl, and welcome back to our channel. I know I haven't done a pre-recorded video in an uncomfortable amount of time, and for that I'm really sorry. A while back in my channel's Discord, feel free to stop by. If you're not into really weird, chaotic roleplay, stick to the Sane Discussion channel. Just a quick heads up. While we were there, we were having a discussion about how the world of the Monster Girl Encyclopedia would change if Monster Boys, which are basically regular Mamono, but boys. Like, yeah, you get the idea. It's not really that difficult to explain. So the question is, how would the world differ if Monster Boys were added? For starters, let's assume 3 things to be true. Thing 1. Male Mamono are very rare. At most, you're going to see a female-male ratio of 10 to 1 or 100 to 1. Still very, very heavily female skewed. Thing 2. Male Mamono produce an excess of spirit energy to make up for the female's lack, functioning in a role similar to an incubus. Thing 3. Mamono ladies do not automatically have to be attracted to their male counterparts of the same species. Okay, we have that out of the way? Good. Let's continue. So, to use examples, let's reference 3 distinctive species. The dragon, the Apophis, and, what should the 3rd species be? Oh, I know. Let's go with your bog standard succubus. Good sort of baseline. Now, the general sort of opinion in the Discord was that, well, if the sex ratio is in the appropriate way, they wouldn't really change that much. Here are some of the questions we had. Discord user Bronze Knight 28715 asked, would it not mean that it's basically undoing what was done by the Demon Lord? To which I have to say, not entirely. Adding male Mamono back into the equation would create a more sort of normal male-female ratio, lessening the need to monsterize women and attack men, reducing the Order's propaganda ammunition. In theory, it would be possible for monsters and humans to coexist in at least tolerating each other. So, in theory, existing incubi might transform into Mamono counterparts to their wives, but I'm not sure the odds for that or how that would work. It was proposed because that would be a much easier alternative to making Mamono birth human males. Back to our examples. Let's go with the dragon. So, what we know about dragons, if you're curious about dragon Mamono, see my video on the subject. Dragon Mamono, they tend to sort of appreciate a very physically powerful husband. And I can really easily see her being well wooed by a dragon, by a male of the dragon species. Basically, they might turn into something of a power couple, which could be a little alarming for the people who have to live in their territory. Just putting that out there. Another thing, we'd have to question, like, what, would dragon typings, like what we see in D&D, start to arise, or what? Moving along to the Apophis, that one's gonna be a bit of a 50-50 shot about whether or not the Mamono in question actually likes her husband or not. So here's my thought process on that. Apophai like to be in charge. Full stop. That's what they like to do. They like to be in charge. And there's nothing wrong with that. But where things could get interesting is when you have two Apophai in the same territory. The way I see it, it's a 50-50 shot on whether or not they get on really, really well, or whether or not they start fighting over the throne, as it were. If they decide to get along, then they go all power couple like the dragons did. Moving on then to the to regular, a male version of your basic succubus. I imagine they'd still be called incubi. They'd probably still act very similarly to their succubi counterparts. But instead of going after men for husbands, they'd be going after taking humans for wives. Now, whether or not monster boys come into being can be a little tricky to discuss. Some people are all for it, some people don't like it. Some people don't even know what monster boys are and look at you funny when you mention them, but at the end of the day, it is an interesting hypothetical to consider. Especially when you take into account the fact that creating monster boys would most likely be a whole heck of a lot easier than making Mamona birth human boys, because I don't know about you, but I'm finding it really difficult from a genetics perspective how you could get a snake lady to produce a normal human boy. Like, I can't imagine that making any sense. But yeah, that has been my thoughts on monster boys and what they would add to the Monster Girl Encyclopedia's universe. As an aside, our current I'm going to be doing a series of art videos based on the My Hero Academia fandom. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be drawing the hypothetical offspring from a ship, and you guys have to guess which ship it is based on the character I draw. How that goes, we'll have to see. This has been Monster Review Girl. Like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe for more. Hit us up on Patreon if you want to get early access to our videos and some exclusive content. Our huge thanks to our patrons Eobard Thawne and Raymond. Again, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. This has been Monster Review Girl, signing off.